Hello, hello. What's up, guys? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear the audio. Thumbs up if you can hear the audio. Hello, Randomized. Good to see you back again. What's up, Darren? Hey, Jason. Can you guys hear me? Hey, Alphabet Systems. I see you, Carol. Okay, we got some thumbs up going. All right, you guys can hear me. So what I wanted to talk to you about today, this is like kind of spur of the moment live stream, because today I was watching CNBC and I saw that if you type into Google, which I actually did, that's where I got this screenshot from that I use as my thumbnail. If you type in "should I," then the first thing that pops up is buy Tesla stock, which to me, obvious answer is yes. But before I get started, I want to say I am not a financial advisor. I like your haircut. Thank you. I didn't cut it recently, but thank you. I guess it was longer last time I was on. So I'm not a financial advisor. I do own Tesla stock. So that shouldn't, if you are a subscriber to this channel, thank you, by the way. And that shouldn't be a big surprise that I am a Tesla shareholder. And I also want to caution you that everything that I say to you now is my opinion, and you guys need to make your own investment decisions. But with that being said, Tesla stock closed today around 748. Earlier this week, it was 900 and some. Who knows what the high was? Anybody remember what the high was? I can look it up. I got my computer here. Nobody. Crickets. So the high, 52-week high, 941, 922, randomized, and Carol say, that sounds about right. And so what a lot of people are saying is that the stock was just driving up because people are jumping on the bandwagon. And frankly, I disagree. And I want to talk about what is just going to happen in just 2020 first. And then I want to go into 2021 and then also 2022. And so what we're looking at here, just for 2020, if you listen to the investment call, we got a lot of great insight on what to expect for this coming year. First of all, the Model Y. If you watch the earnings call or listen to the earnings call, you heard and were surprised, even though a couple people have tweeted out before, that Model Y deliveries were going to start a lot earlier. So that is huge because originally it was going to be the fall of this year, and now it's pushed all the way, and they've posted in their shareholders letter, which I have right here, posted in their shareholders letter actually pictures of the factory, which to me is like incredible that they already have the factory up and running, producing Model Ys. So obviously if I cut this video up after I do the live stream, then I'll post a picture so you guys can see it better. But if you haven't, you can go to ir.tesla.com and you can actually see the investor letter that was sent out for 2019 and Q4. So to me, that's huge because now they're ready to start producing all these cars. So that's crazy, right? But that's only one thing that's going on right now. That's one part of the entire 2020 picture for this year. So the other thing is Tesla Semi. So I live in Virginia, and there's a company located in Virginia not too far from me that's actually about to take delivery, hopefully in a couple months is what they said, of 5 Tesla Semis. 5 Tesla Semis. They ordered 100. So hopefully I'm able to get my hands on them. I have reached out and I'm working with them now. They haven't confirmed yet, so I don't want to have you guys get your hopes up that I am actually going to be able to go and test. I would love to test the autopilot system on the Semi and get a ton of video footage, although if you've seen other YouTube videos at the Semi event, they did go through that. But I am reaching out to that company, and they haven't taken delivery yet, so it's kind of all up in the air. It depends on a lot of logistical things with them. They are a logistics company, so definitely stay tuned for that, and I really hope I'm able to do that. But Tesla Semi, huge product, and they took a lot of slack on the earnings call because one of the biggest things was some of the analysts, these bank analysts that I feel like don't really understand the company because they don't follow it as closely as I do, or probably as some of you guys do. Some of these analysts were asking, well, why don't you start producing the Semi in, huge volume right now? And that's because, as you and I probably know, is they're limited on batteries right now. So they're producing as many vehicles as they can because they're limited on batteries. And that's why during last year and most of 2018 as well, we saw a decline in power packs and that kind of stuff that was installed because they're limited on batteries. So if they come out with a Semi, which is, really battery intensive, then they're going to have to, like, if they start producing more Semis, then they're going to have to reduce the number of Model 3s or the number of Model S or X that they're producing. So those are two products coming out this year, which just those two products alone, for me as an investor, would make me want to go into the stock because I'm like, those are two products that people are really red hot about. Commercially, the Tesla Semi is going to be a huge product because fuel is such a huge cost for some of these delivery companies, especially these companies that are delivering, like have local deliveries. So they don't need a ton of miles, but they do need a fast, fuel efficient vehicle. Like I think Coca-Cola, Pepsi, I'm sure you guys know a ton. When the Semi was released, that all these companies jumped on board and threw their money down to reserve one of these Semis. So the company that operates close to me in Virginia, where I live, they are actually going to have several Semis delivered. Hopefully, they told me by March, from March this year to June, and I'm guessing that's the same time frame that Tesla has given to them. So expect Semi deliveries starting, I would say Q2, probably in the beginning of Q3. But again, that depends on the battery. So the next product I want to talk to you about that's coming out again this year, and it's already started rolling out. We've seen some pictures. If you go on the Tesla subreddit, you can see the solar roof or the solar shingles. It's a roof that looks like it looks better than a regular roof. Now Tesla is still selling the regular solar panels, which I'm not a fan of because they don't look great. And my roof is not flat, it has some peaks, and so solar shingles makes a lot more sense to me. And I do have a picture of that from the shareholder letter if you're unfamiliar, and they have started installs, and they did mention that also in the shareholder letter. And so that is another business standalone. If that was its own company creating this beautiful solar roof product that people could put on their roof and make it actually, Elon has said before, your roof becomes alive. So why wouldn't you want a roof that makes you money? And especially in California. Here in Virginia, I can't justify the cost. Well, I'll get into that in a little bit. All right. The next product, again, is Powerwalls and Power Packs. So Elon has said just a couple weeks ago that that production is going to start ramping up because they're gaining more batteries. And so also now that cars aren't going to China, which was a huge market for Tesla, now that the Shanghai factory is up, although with the coronavirus, it is halted right now, which I'm not that worried about. Sounds kind of like very similar to the flu, so not that worried about it. But again, I'm not a healthcare professional, so I don't know that much about it. But the Powerwalls and Power Packs are going to get ramped up this year because they're going to have more battery capacity coming out of Nevada. So because of that increased capacity, they actually have the ability to sell these Power Packs and Powerwalls. Power Packs are the big commercial batteries like we saw getting installed in Australia, and the Powerwalls are the home battery backup system that you can hook up to your solar panel, and you don't need like a what's very popular here on the East Coast is a natural gas generator. And so you don't need that noisy natural gas generator. You just have a super quiet, clean Powerwall affixed in your garage, or it can even go outside. I've seen a couple really cool installs of it in the garage with the, a white Powerwalls with the wall painted red. It looks really nice. Now the last thing, and you guys can tell me if I missed something, is the Battery Investor Day. And so I'm really, really excited about that. The Battery Investor Day is going to be huge. And I really think that is going to be something where when we're looking at Tesla as a whole, it's going to be one of the turning points, I believe, where Tesla kind of lays the rainbow road, if you will, of where EVs are going to take over. Now, Randomized did show me, give me a question here. Hey, All Electric, I've never seen or heard of a car company Byton. Yes, I have heard of Byton. They were at CES, based on the Hong Kong. Yeah, I've heard of Byton. One of my buddies, Alex from E for Electric, I don't know if you guys have heard of him. He's got a YouTube channel as well. He's very into Byton. He's sponsored by Byton. And I gotta say, I don't like the styling. Also, I'm a much bigger fan. I'm not sure. Does anybody know where that company is from? I want to say they're Asia-based, and I could be wrong. So if they are Asia-based, I would prefer to support an American company building cars in America, just like Tesla's doing. But yeah, so that's 2020, right? So we have the Model Y, Tesla Semi, solar roof, Powerwalls and Power Pack, and biggest, okay, Randomized said Hong Kong, so yeah. Biggest one is the Battery Investor Day. I think that is going to really set the stage for this entire year. So going into Model Y, like I had said before, the Model Y production has already begun, right? So the Model Y, they've shown pictures of the factory. We're actually going to get deliveries starting in just a couple weeks. They've said the first week of March is when they're actually going to start delivering cars, which Elon has said before, and which I do believe, at least for the US market, the Model Y is going to be a way more popular than the Model 3. The Model 3 is a popular car, but it's a four-door sedan. And there's many people in the US that just don't like the sedan. They don't like sitting low to the ground or driving low to the ground. They like sitting up high in their big SUV, and that's, a lot of people in America. So this car is going to appeal to them, although it's also great for Tesla because it's something like 80% of the parts are exactly the same. So it's a different driving experience, like Drew said on the earnings call, different driving experience, but it's also a way more functional vehicle in that it doesn't have a traditional trunk like a sedan. It has a hatchback similar to the Model S and the Model X. So those are two huge bonuses for the Model Y, and why I think it's going to sell a lot more than the Model 3. But again, this all hinges on that Battery Investor Day because they need to scale batteries, because right now they don't have, pallets and pallets of batteries laying around in Nevada. Every single battery that they produce is going into one of their products, whether it be the Semi, the Powerwall, Power Pack, or the Model 3, S, or X. Now next is the Semi. So the Semi is going to be a huge business. Now, lots of companies, similar to the company that I was talking with you guys about, care about commercial costs. And so some of these private companies really want their costs to go down. And as oil prices have gone up, or diesel, their costs, I don't know if you guys ever get commercial deliveries and stuff like that, but I've seen before where they actually tack on to my receipt where it shows a delivery fee. And so this delivery fee has kind of been passed to the end consumer. And so with the implementation of these fully electric vehicles now delivering goods and services, I think we're going to see a decline in the cost in delivering goods and services, right? So if it costs $100 to deliver something on a diesel truck and it costs $50 to deliver something on an electric truck, I mean, it just makes total sense. If you're just talking business here and just business, you're going to want to save money. So that's why Rivian, for example, with Amazon, that's why Amazon put that big investment in Rivian. That's why I really think that this semi and the smaller 18-wheeler, not the big sleeper one, but the smaller 18-wheeler that is for like regional deliveries under, a few hundred miles, that is going to be a huge market for Tesla. But again, what does the semi need? The semi needs more batteries. Without more batteries, there is no semi. So again, we're limited. That is our choke point. That is the point where all these awesome products funnel down to the batteries. So that brings me to the Battery Investor Day. And so where are these batteries coming from? And what is Maxwell? How is that company going to play into what Tesla has planned for the future of batteries? Are we going to see something like, some of this, I think next generation tech where it's like a dry cell or some of the other kind of cool concept batteries that work in a lab but don't necessarily work in a commercial or a mass production setting. Now, some people have said, and they, according to Maxwell Technologies, they had a PowerPoint slide where it would actually double the range. And so that's where we're going to get, I think, and we're going to see the 1,000,000-mile battery along with, range increasing, probably doubling. I could see range doubling, especially if they go to something like a dry cell where you just are able to pack in so much more energy, like way, way more energy dense. And that is just going to completely blow other auto manufacturers like GM and their Bolt. The reason why you don't see a ton of those out is because they can't produce enough because they don't have the batteries. That's the limiting factor of all these other EV manufacturers or these other manufacturers who are also producing EVs. So right now it's like we can't produce batteries at scale. Like all these other manufacturers, including Volkswagen, are trying to produce batteries at such a large scale. And so it's really challenging, and I really think over the next couple of years, and that's why all these, I guess, randomized leaving, out of characters, type, bye. Randomize, thanks for joining the live chat. I appreciate it. That's why all these other battery, these companies like Volkswagen are 2 to 3 years out from producing a mass market car, because realistically, probably they could get out, let's say 30,000 cars a year, and they're getting their batteries from LG Chem. So it's, it's not a mass market car where a lot of these analysts, and it drives me nuts when they get on CNBC and they're like, well, the Tesla killer is coming. It's like, yeah, but when the Tesla killer comes, how are they going to get enough batteries to produce all these cars? Well, these OEMs can, these auto manufacturers like Volkswagen, they're used to making a million or plus cars a year. So they're just going to completely just annihilate Tesla. But they don't have the batteries for these fully electric cars, nor do they have the powertrain technology, which the batteries and the powertrain technology is what I think we're going to see on the Battery Investor Day. So the solar shingles and the solar panel, I want to switch gears to that. I was actually invested in Solar City at their IPO. Also, I invested in Tesla at their IPO back in 2010. It was like $17 a share. I didn't have a ton of money, but I put everything that I could in Tesla and actually sold that back in 2015 to buy my first Tesla. But anyway, let's switch now to Solar City, or the solar portion of Tesla, what used to be Solar City, and that's the solar roof, the solar panels, and the Powerwall. As prices come down for the solar roof, I really foresee price of the solar roof increasing drastically. I'm sorry, I think I misspoke there. As prices come down for the solar roof, I think I see prices and demand for the solar roof going through the roof, going up, because prices right now I think are really, really high. I actually have my estimate that I got for my house, which is not a big, but just a normal single family home. And the price estimate was around $50,000. That's a lot of money. $50,000 to get the solar roof, not the solar panels. The solar panels from Tesla, which again, my roof is not a kind of a flat surface. It's not a great spot to put solar panels, so it would have to be kind of mismatchy because I have a lot of peaks on my roof. And that was going to be around $30,000, and it would have roughly the same energy output, so the Tesla person told me. And so for $50,000 for the solar roof, that seemed so high to me, like $50,000, where I could get solar panels, which looked hideous in my opinion, even though Tesla does a great job putting them very low profile close to the roof, and they have these beautiful little plastic angle pieces to make it look like the solar panel is resting right on top of the roof. But I don't think at $50,000 many people are going to invest, besides those people that got the first iPhone, or waited in line for the first iPhone. I really think that a lot of the people are going to start to buy into the solar roof when you see prices drop in half. So for example, for my home, if prices go to, let's say, $25,000 from $50,000, I think you're going to see a huge market just kind of pouring into that solar roof, which Elon has alluded to in a couple earnings call and shareholder meetings, in that as production starts to ramp, they are now on, I think, version 3 or version 4 of the solar roof tiles, and they actually changed the form factor, so they were I guess a bit larger, and they made them more rectangular and long. But as production starts to increase at the gigafactory in New York, up in Buffalo, I think we're really going to see how the price is going to continue to fall, and then regular residential homeowners like myself, it makes sense, because right now at $50,000, I calculated the break even was something like 11 years. And that's because here in Virginia, we have really, really cheap electricity at 11 cents a kilowatt. So if you're in California right now, you have probably, 22 or more, so probably double. So it's going to take, what's my 11 years is going to be half the time for you in California. And I think that's why they're selling so many of those rentable solar systems, where you can get, it's kind of like one size fits all. You get a small, medium, and large, and it's $50 or $100 a month, or I forget what it is, but it basically, that really does, as Elon has alluded to, prints money for you, and it just sits up there on your roof, and you just rent it right from them. But so switching gears now, back to battery, Powerwall associated with the solar roof, I think is going to be a really big market. But like I said, I want to see what happens at Battery Investor Day, and see if they can really amp up the number of batteries that they're able to produce out of Nevada. And also, so that's Gigafactory 1 in Nevada, and then there's Gigafactory 2, that's the solar panel and the solar roof manufacturing facility in Buffalo, and then Gigafactory 3, I believe, is China, and that is going to have in-house batteries, Model Y, Model 3, all produced there, all in one. And then Gigafactory 4, or the Berlin factory that they broke ground on, and that is going to be the same footprint as the China factory, because how Tesla is setting up is so that they don't have to ship cars from California all the way around the world to, let's say, Europe or Asia. So that's going to be logistically so much easier. And now we learned this week that there's probably going to be a gigafactory in Texas, but right now, give me a shout out if you guys live in Texas, because you can't actually buy a Tesla in Texas. It's one of those weird states that doesn't allow direct sales because they have some crazy dealer association law, which is bonkers. Shout out from Texas. What's up, McJavlo? Yeah, so like, I think after seeing Elon tweet, he had like a Twitter poll on where the next gigafactory should be. And of course, I'm like, hell yeah, Texas would be awesome. And it'd be really awesome if they made a huge battery facility there, because you can ship batteries, you know, either to the East Coast or the West Coast. I'm sorry, I totally butchered your name. My apologies. But they can also produce in Texas the Cybertruck. And I think if the Cybertruck gets produced in Texas, I think that is going to be huge, huge. Like Texas, like, you know, big truck Texas, like herding cattle, everybody's got a truck, and imagine rolling up to the rodeo in your Cybertruck that was produced in that state, or working at, you know, at the Tesla facility. You know, I just think that is huge. Not only it's a smart play from Tesla because it's actually the second biggest state on population. Number 1 is California, and number 2 is Texas. I believe New York might be pretty close to that. But I think Battery Investor Day is going to be very telling on the number of batteries, because we need way more batteries for the Semi, for all these exciting products that are coming out in 2019, 2020. And so all that being said, I want to wrap around to where we started. Should I buy Tesla? And if you know, I'm not a financial advisor, and my opinions are my own, and I am not giving you financial advice. But yes, I am a Tesla investor, and I have been invested for many, many years. And I also invested in Solar City, which converted to Tesla stock. And so I think, yes, if you're on the fence about buying Tesla, I would buy it. But again, I'm not a financial investor, advisor. I'm not a financial advisor. No, it's not a no. I see that comment there. It's not a no. It is a buy. Just the product roadmap is the most exciting product roadmap of any other company. Like, name one other company with a more exciting roadmap. There isn't one. There is no other company out there with a more exciting roadmap. And that's only what we just covered was just this year, just 2020. Now, I did dabble in a little bit into 2021 when I talked about the Cybertruck, and I think Semi is going to start ramping orders of the Semi in 2021. And so like that to me is just going to be just below every other manufacturer out of the water. So we have in 2021 the Cybertruck, the Roadster 2.0, which is going to be one hell of a car, and I can't wait to get my hands on that. And multiple gigafactories potentially coming online, including the Berlin and potentially the gigafactory in Texas, or probably breaking ground, hopefully before 2021 at some point this year. So now that I've talked about the product roadmap, I want to switch gears and go just talk about the stock market. So just the stock market, right? Like, should I buy Tesla stock? Now, the S&P 500, so the 500 biggest companies in the US. So Tesla is one of the top 100 biggest companies, but they're not in the S&P 500 yet because they haven't been profitable, right? They haven't been profitable for long enough. So they need 2 or 3 more quarters of profitability. So if they achieve profitability during Q1 and they also achieve profitability during Q2, then most likely they will be included in the S&P 500. Okay, so you are a huge Tesla fanboy and you bought Tesla stock. Why the hell do you care about the S&P 500? Doesn't matter, right? Wrong, because when Tesla gets into the S&P 500, there is going to be a huge uptick in the Tesla stock price because so many institutional investors are required to buy that as part of their portfolio when they're trying to match the S&P 500. So it is going to be And also, if we have this big short squeeze, it is going to just create, like, you are grabbing the ketchup bottle and squeezing as hard as you can, and it is going to go straight up. I really think, although Elon did say on the earnings call Q1 is probably going to be, he said, I believe he said, I'm paraphrasing here, we're probably going to dip into the red, although I think that, I really think that Q1 might surprise, although they are having a lot of capital expenditures with the additional gigafactories, and not to mention China being shut down for a couple weeks here with the coronavirus. So I guess I'll grab a drink of Corona from Texas. McJavelin, Jab in a Glio. I think I'm saying it wrong. So that's about all I wanted to talk about as far as Tesla stock goes. What questions do you guys have for me? Crickets. Do you want to grab a drink? No questions? I'll grab a drink of Corona. I wonder if Corona is not selling as many Coronas right now. Okay, we got a question from one of my live stream regulars here, Darren. Do you think the Model Y will be good for me with cerebral palsy? I do, I know that you mentioned this before, that you're planning on getting the Model Y because it's easily more accessible for your wheelchair, which I think is great compared to the Model 3 that has a regular trunk. Another question from Visual. Do you think the stock will continue to climb back to $1,000? Yes, I really think it is going to climb back there and surpass $1,000. But again, this is not an investment device. And I am very much long on Tesla, meaning I am not selling any of my shares probably until at least 2030, maybe 2035. With that being said, I kind of hope that it doesn't climb up to 1,000 yet. I kind of foresee that Q1 is going to be, I hope Q1 isn't, but it might be in the red, meaning that they might have a loss for Q1, which China being shut down and all that. So like if the China factory is shut down longer than anticipated, then they show loss for Q1 and then the stock takes a really big hit. To me, as a long-term investor, that's great because I have money sitting on the sidelines waiting to pour in and buy more Tesla should that happen. And because right now, all the money I have on the sidelines, I don't necessarily want to buy because I kind of want to wait for something bad to happen, if that makes sense. I'm not hoping something bad happens. Definitely the stock ticks up all the way, goes straight up to 1,000, then I'm definitely going to hold that money on the sideline. Just reading a couple more questions here. What am I expecting for Q1? How many vehicles do you think will be delivered? I think whatever estimate that Tesla gave as far as estimated deliveries for Q1, I think that it's definitely going to be significantly lower because of the coronavirus. I think that's going to be a huge play because that was a huge plus. But with that being said, they might have, I'm sure there's somebody who's done a drone shot of the Fremont factory, but they might have several hundred probably Model Ys being ready to delivered, and that could really turn the market over, especially if that gets a lot of positive press and a lot of people get their hands on it. Yeah, so Tesla Fanatic 3, I do think that there's going to be a lot fewer deliveries because of the coronavirus, but I think they initially said 3 weeks that the factory was going to be down, but I'm not sure if that's going to be extended, and I don't think anybody really knows right now. So do I plan on getting a Model Y? As of right now, no. I don't plan on getting a Model Y. Really happy with our Model 3. So my Model 3, the white Model 3 that you see primarily, is a 2018 and it has a 2.5 hardware, whereas my wife's Model 3, if you saw my latest Model 3 delivery video, that's a 2019 or 2020, I'm sorry. So this past fall was the first year that they started copying what other auto manufacturers do, as far as in the fall or in starting November 1st, any car produced after November 1st is actually going to be a 2020 model year. So any car November 1st through the end of the year and following through 2020 all the way until, October 31st of 2020 is a 2020 model year. And so my wife's car, although built in December 2019, is a 2020 Model 3. And we're really happy with them. Like, I have to say the size of the Model 3 works for us, and we got 2 kids, and we took 2 kids to the beach with 2 adults and a ton of beach toys and, a pack and play and a bunch of baby stuff, and it was fine. There was plenty of room. I mean, the form factor is crazy. I mean, you just can't, like, a typical sedan, like a gas sedan, cannot compete with the Model 3. Like, if you take, a Volvo or a BMW, like, you have no space compared to a Model 3, which has a flat floor in the back, a huge trunk. I mean, it's just crazy. So let's see here. Oh, I want to let you guys know that I did enable Super Chats. I'm not sure if you guys have used that before, but you guys can do a Super Chat, and also the stickers. I'm not sure if the stickers are available in live stream or not. Maybe one of you guys can let me know that. All right. Bob, what about the Model D? I haven't heard about the Model D. I've heard about the Model 2, which Elon alluded to, and that is the China-made, small, like smaller than sedan, compact vehicle. They haven't claimed it being the Model 2. They haven't even given a name. He just kind of mentioned it, that it is going to be a small, like, I don't know, think like really small, not like Mini Cooper small, still 4-door, but I think that's going to be a super, super high volume, really just wicked cheap, with full autonomy suite, and that's going to be somewhere in like the mid-20 range. And that's going to, like, that's going to be really, really, really something special. I think he did mention, though, that, which I kind of don't like, is that the Model 2, the smaller, the smallest of the Teslas, is going to be China-made. So it's going to be made in China for global consumption. So it sounds like it's only going to be made in China. They're probably going to add on to the current factory that they have, probably after they finish with the Model Y. And I think this is going to come later, like 5 years from now. This is going to be like a mass market car where a company like Uber, who needs a ton of autonomous cars, can buy a fleet of, let's say, 5,000, 10,000 of these Model 2s, we're calling it, although that number or that name is not official, but they can buy this fleet of these really, really cheap cars and put them on their autonomous network. And I'm sure Tesla will be charged a royalty. And that's something that we didn't even touch on. Talking about Tesla stock, we didn't even touch on autonomy. And so I think that's going to play a huge part in their business long term, but we didn't even touch on it. All right, so if there's no more questions, I'm going to wrap up this live stream. But those of you that started this live stream from the beginning and went all the way through, it's over 40 minutes. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And all of you guys out there that are subscribing, thank you very much. I do really appreciate it. I hope you guys know that I put a lot of effort into this channel, and I definitely really, really appreciate the support that you guys give me. So thank you very much. And I want to do a sneak peek of some other videos. I'm going to talk about some of the other videos, and this is when I do chop this video up, and I'm probably going to make a video out of this live stream, but I'm going to edit this part out, so this is only for you guys that are watching this live stream right now. So here it goes. So here's some of the videos that I have lined up. Are autopilot versus navigate on autopilot and what the difference is. So a lot of people have been asking me, and I'm getting a lot of emails about that. So I wanted to just kind of lay it all out there in a very easy to view format, showing the difference between navigate on autopilot and regular autopilot. One of the other videos I'm working on is I saw Tesla Jess on Twitter talk about the save a dash cam clip on a honk. And so somebody has been wondering, or somebody put the question up about if you actually, you have that setting turned on and then you turn, go from the mobile app after the setting is on and hit the honk button, does it actually save a dash cam clip? Meaning like you can see your car, or you think something's going on with your car and you can hit the honk button and save a dash cam clip. So I want to do a video on that. And then also, I wanted to do a video on car seats in the Model 3. I think that's a big misconception. People that I've talked to that have kids are really like, I don't think car seats will fit. So that's another kind of surprise video that I want to do. And then owning 2 electric cars. A lot of people are scared to kind of just get rid of gas altogether. And then part of this channel is to try to convince people that going all electric and just having electricity in their lives without any gasoline is okay, and you can actually do it because we've been doing it for a while now. The real maintenance on a Tesla, that's probably going to come out this month, and that is over the course of this past year that I've owned my Model 3, what exactly all the real maintenance is on a Model 3, and then autopilot versus full self-driving. So if you don't know, if you're not following this channel closely, you know that my wife's car has the regular autopilot, the kind of standard autopilot that comes with every Tesla, whereas my car has the full self-driving software suite that has all the features. So I'm going to do a video about the FSD package versus the autopilot, because there's a lot of people who are out there who are wanting to buy a Tesla and they're uncertain if they, because I think it's right now $7,000 for the FSD suite, and that's a big chunk of change if you really want, and most people won't ever use it. Like, we decided not to get it on my wife's because she doesn't want to play with the features like I do, and I love to show all you guys all those features. And then another video that I want to do is, can you afford a Tesla? And so that's a big question that I have, and also a misconception is a lot of people, when I say, well, Tesla starts at $35,000, and there's actually some used ones that drop below 30. I've seen a couple for like 28, 27,000. And so that's a big misconception I want to squash, that Teslas are actually affordable. So I hope you guys liked that. That was just a little sneak peek of some videos I have coming. Again, all the advice I give to you guys right now is my opinion, and it is not, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving you financial advice. Make sure you do your own research before you invest any of your money. So I'm going to read a couple of these comments that came in. Darren, do you still like gas cars? I don't. Yeah, I would agree. Gas cars, not good. Bill, I'd like to know where there is $30,000 Model 3s. So I've seen a couple on Craigslist. The one was for $28,000. It had almost 50,000 miles, and it went fast. And that was when I was searching before we bought my wife's Model 3, when she said, you know, I want a Model 3. And that, like, I think the guy posted it. Nope, not a salvage title, Bill. It was a standard range plus, and the guy put a ton of miles on it. And so it was 28,500, I believe, and it was black. There was no other options, just regular autopilot with the standard rims. And so obviously what we ended up with was a red with, you know, the fancy rims, white interior, and we're really happy with the vehicle. It really is a great car. So I would go on Craigslist or something like that. And there's also onlyusetesla.com, which they don't have a lot of Model 3 inventory right now. It's definitely, as Tesla is becoming more and more popular, I think also with the stock price, you know, is drawing a lot of news to Tesla, more and more people are becoming interested, and Tesla sells every single car that they make. And not to sound like a broken record, but that just goes back to what I was talking about. Battery Investor Day is going to be huge because we need more batteries. Without more batteries, we can't make more cars. We, meaning Tesla. So Tesla can't make more cars without more batteries. So hopefully that does come, you know, soon. And if you guys want to see a live stream of Battery Investor Day, I think I'm going to end up doing that because I'm just so amped up. And that's basically going to be watching Battery Investor Day live with you guys. So I'll have the audio of Battery Investor Day and a live stream of my commentary live as Battery Investor Day is going on. So thank you everybody for tuning in. I appreciate it. We're now approaching 50 minutes. So thank you. And I really meant what I said. So all you guys supporting the channel, especially you guys over there on Patreon supporting this channel. And if you don't know, you can head over to my channel page and support this channel on Patreon for as little as $1 per month. And I would really appreciate the support. So thank you guys so much. Again, really appreciate you tuning into this live stream, and I will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.